Coming up in today's Leeds news, under 21s lose, Leeds under 18s heavy loss, Leeds linked to versatile Sevilla winger, Jack Harrison January exit, and Salonica 1973 documentary to be released. Morning folks, welcome to the Leeds View, Wednesday the 17th of December with your Leeds United news. I hope your week is going well so far. It's been a pretty quiet week news-wise on the ground as we get ready to wind up for the January transfer window. There is one relatively credible story that has come out today that we'll cover in the main part of the news, but also just to bring your attention to the Paris 75 documentary. It is coming to Dublin in January. There are 250 tickets available for a single showing in the IFI in Temple Bar in Dublin city centre. If you're interested in going to that, it's a one-off. Be a great chance to go and see it there if you can. The link to that is down below. We've got more detail on another project from Harvey Marcus towards the back end of the video. But we'll start today with a bit of an academy review, and we'll start off with the under 21s. Tough night last night for the Leeds United under 21s as they lost to Borussia Dortmund B in the Premier League International Cup. They went down 3-0 in that game, and in truth, Dortmund were the more aggressive, physical side on the night. Their first goal in the first half came after just basically bombarding their way through the middle of Leeds, and a good break and a bit of luck. The ball finds the far right-hand corner of Rory Mahadi. Not an awful lot he could do about that unsighted with the shot. The second goal came from a good move direct from the back for Dortmund as they passed away through Leeds, found their way down the left-hand side, and then a shot in off the post gave them a 2-0 lead at half-time. And the third goal came in the second half to wrap things up. But Dortmund, as I say, were definitely the more effective and physical side, and the mid-season break didn't seem to help Leeds United at all. They didn't look as sharp as they have looked this season, but they have got 2 wins in the competition so far. They're still well placed to do something in it, but there were a few good performances. Harvey Vincent, Harry Gray and Jayden Lenu were probably the standouts for Leeds United on the night, but they will have to take another bit of a break now. They're not back in action until January the 10th, so they might need to get some friendlies played in the meantime if they're going to keep the sharpness up, because they didn't look their fluid selves, let's say, last night against a Dortmund side who, in credit to them, were very, very good. Let's move on. Let's talk about the under-18s and their game yesterday as well. Leeds under-18s sadly also lost yesterday. They went down 5-2 at home to Burnley in a very heavy defeat on home soil. Leeds goals in the game came from Jack Morris and Callum Mills, but a tough defeat and a tough day all round for the Leeds United Academy. All they can do, dust themselves off and go again and get ready for their next set of games. It's a weird time of the season for the academy sides, but yeah, a couple of new players also being linked, another couple of new young players being linked when moving to the Leeds United Academy. So we'll get you more detail on them when they start to become a little bit more credible over the next couple of weeks. Kai Morrow was the one yesterday that we covered who looks like he will sign for the Leeds United Academy in January. Let's move on. Let's talk about a January transfer link for the senior team. As we all know, Leeds had interest in an additional winger during the summer, and they missed out on Facundo Buonanotte and Harry Wilson. And given the season that Harry Wilson is having so far, it seems incredibly unlikely that Leeds United will be in a position to bring him in. According to reports this morning, Wilson will stay at Fulham at least until the end of the season. He's having a really strong season, and we may have missed out on that one, but there are fresh reports today that suggest Leeds are monitoring other wide options. And according to Ficias in Spain, they claim the Leeds are preparing an offer of in and around €20 million for versatile winger Ruben Vargas. The report suggests that Leeds will be willing to meet the €9 million asking price for the Seville winger, with performance-related bonuses on top of that to bring it up to that €20 million fee. €20 million in and around 17.5 million. The 9 million is in and around £7 million. But Leeds will need to be mindful about how much cash they are paying up front with the PSR situation around the club if they don't get exits. And there is some interesting stuff around the fee that has been mentioned for Vargas. Leeds would have stiff competition though, according to this report today. It says that Leeds United will be up against Newcastle and Sunderland, who are both said to be very much in the mix to get the winger. The report claims that Vargas would fit Leeds United's style of play, but although he is a right-footed right winger, Leeds were looking for a left-footed right winger for that cut-in option, but they do also need a replacement for Dan James right now. From a recruitment perspective, does he tick the boxes that Leeds tend to go for or have gone for in the last 12 months? Well, he's 27 years of age, so he's coming into his prime years, and that would line up with a lot of what Leeds have done in the summer. He's affordable based on the fee that Leeds were trying to pay for Harry Wilson in and around the summer. It was about a £7 million fee, €9 million. That kind of lines up with the Vargas fee as well. And he's a Swiss international with 11 goals and 11 assists in 58 international matches. This season for Sevilla, he has started 11 games and clocked up 3 goals and 4 assists, and 7 G&A in 11 La Liga games is not a bad return at all. He has missed the last couple of games though with a bit of an injury. It's nothing serious, just missed a few matches, and that's kind of reduced his game time recently. But Leeds will need, as I say, another option for Daniel James on that right hand side, with his injury likely to be a more longer term one. Willy Gnonto has shown that he can be very effective on that side if needed, if Leeds decide to revert back to that 4-3-3 system or the 4-2-3-1. Limited appearances for Gnonto, but he has looked relatively effective on that right hand side. But the publication is a reasonably reliable one at best. It does tend to tick a few boxes in this situation. The money up front is the one that really stands out to me. It's pretty much lines up exactly with what Leeds were hoping to pay for Harry Wilson. And then with the performance-related bonuses, they need to get a little bit more creative with the additional sets of fees. Loans are the obvious one we've talked about quite an awful lot. But I would say this on these stories: it's important at this point of a season to take all of these stories with at least some level of skepticism until they become slightly more concrete. Everything's a rumour until the player signs for the club or looks like he's going to sign for the club. And at this point, it's slightly more credible than most. But again, I would take it with a certain level of skepticism and a pinch of salt on that one. Let's move on and talk about a potential exit in January. Leeds will need to bring in some cash during the winter window if they want to add more than a single player to their squad. And there is conversations that Leeds are looking for potentially up to 3 players in January. But one of the players being linked with a move away from Leeds United in January is winger Jack Harrison, which won't be a huge surprise to most people. But trying to get a club to take Jack Harrison away from Leeds United with the financial package that he is on and the contract length that he has at Leeds might be a little bit tricky. According to reports today, Leeds United will look to move Jack Harrison on in January, with the winger playing just 9 minutes since November for the club and not considered to be a starting option for Daniel Farke, especially not now in the new system with 3 at the back. In Harrison's last 12 appearances for Leeds this season, he has yet to register a goal or an assist, and he's only created 2 chances this season. Last season, in 38 appearances for Everton, he only managed 1 goal with no assists. The report today says that moving Harrison off the wage bill would clear up some money for Leeds United to make moves in January, and he's in a similar situation to that of Ilan Meslier, with both of them on significantly high Premier League wages, and Leeds removing both of them from the wage bill this January would give them some PSR headroom for bringing in new players. But what kind of fee or what kind of interest Leeds can drum up in Jack Harrison is anybody's guess at this point. And personally, for me, I think it's unlikely that Jack Harrison would walk away from Leeds United this season. He's got a chunky contract that's in place. It's not winding down anytime soon, and unless he can get a decent financial package. But based on his last 2 seasons of performances, that could be unlikely. But yeah, for me, it seems unlikely Jack Harrison would go. But if Leeds are trying to bring in money, then you're looking at a couple of players. There's obviously the likes of Joe Pirou as well in that mix of not getting a huge amount of football. I think he should get a few minutes in this new system. But you've got Harrison, Meslier and Pirou as options that Leeds United could look to move on, players that are not playing a huge amount of football for the club and could bring in some money or free up some wages in the process. Let's move on. Let's talk about the new project from Harvey Marcus around Salonica in 1973. Harvey Marcus is the director, producer and interviewer and everything related to the Paris 75 documentary, and has another Leeds related short documentary project that will be debuting on YouTube this month. Paris 75 has been a huge success across cinemas in Leeds and Yorkshire and comes to Dublin in early January. So anyone who's interested in going to that, it's in the IFI in Dublin, Temple Bar, and link to that is down below to get your tickets. As part of the film, Marcus spoke to several Leeds legends and fans who were around there at that time, and one of the topics that kept coming up was the Cup Winners' Cup final of 1973. And as a result of that, Harvey is releasing a short documentary about the European Cup Winners' Cup final from Salonica in 1973, where the referee on that night was found guilty of taking a bribe and travelled with the AC Milan squad to the Cup final. Paul Reaney captained Leeds United on that night, and his memories are captured in this short documentary around everything that happened in Salonika. Even the Greek fans on that night booed the referee heavily after some egregious decisions during the game. The referee was found guilty, as I say, of taking a bribe and was given a lifetime ban for match fixing. And it still remains one of the most notorious European Cup finals to this day. The match was never replayed. The result was never reversed. Milan didn't seem to have a huge amount of an issue with accepting the win in the circumstances that were pretty highly publicised at the same time. But that documentary will debut and premiere on YouTube over on the Paris 75 YouTube channel on December 19th. The link is down below. And also, if you could subscribe to that channel and watch some of the content there as well to try and help Harvey get to the level where he can monetize that channel in order to release the Paris 75 documentary in full on that channel as well. They're quite short clips there at the moment, which is making it difficult for him to get to that level where he can put the Paris 75 documentary straight out onto YouTube. So if you can go show some support there as well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'll be going to the show in Dublin. I actually can't wait for this. I've avoided seeing anything else about it because I want to see the full documentary in its rawness on the 3rd of January in Dublin. So yeah, you can check that out if you want. The links are all down below. As I say, there's only 250 tickets available. They're selling quick. So if you do want to go and see that, I would recommend clicking on that link down below and getting your tickets as quick as you can. Outside of that, folks, that will be it for me today. The podcast is available from last night with Paul and Jerry if you want to check that out. And outside of that, I am back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.